POS show yo. Show yo. Show yo. Yo, it's POS with Pat and Bobby. News so wild it's never sloppy. Talk the truth, don't make it snobby. Who's with POS? We getting choppy. POS show yo. Show yo. Show yo.
Post 9/11, what up?
9/12. We made it.
The day after. It must got to be the morning after. How was your 9/11?
It wasn't the worst one of all time. That's for sure.
What was?
The big one. I think that was 04. It was a bad 9/11 for me. No,
it was an O for a lot. Swinging them is so for lots. Oh man. But so I hope everybody had a good 9/11. I spent my 9/11 in the evening being on Who Are These Podcasts. I want to thank Carl and Chris for having me on there. I did almost 3 hours on that show. A lot of fun. So if you haven't got a chance, check out the episodes. I'll get a lot of nice comments today about that. And they're always good to me. One person did say I was kissing their ass because they said they run their show well. Some people really just don't like compliments, I guess. They're like, you easy, stop sucking his dick because you said he's got good content and he fucking does research.
In your defense, we do get on about 15 minutes before we do ours. We start doing our research into the stories. So there's different levels of preparedness. You're complimenting him. What he brings to the table.
Right, but we even talked about but what we bring to the table is we're comedians, so we can bring a sense of humor to it. Carl has learned how to be funny within his thing, but Carl's not a comedian anyway, shape, or form. Chris is very funny, and Chris knows when to be a sniper and get. And I was even saying that I said, Carl is smart enough, but also humble enough to be like, I need a funny guy. I can't. He also produces stuff like that, but Carl knows that he's the straight man to that and have the funny guy. I said Carl and a lot of these other guys, Doug from Who's Right. There's a bunch of different shows where these guys 20 years ago would have been big radio personalities, but they adapted with the times and realized that skill should be here, not there. It's the morons who still try to go there. Like, I'm on radio because they need personalities. They don't need radio hosts anymore. You know what I mean? So it's kind of flipped in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the other issue is the long form content where people who would have done an hour, 2-hour radio show of talking and they could kind of be the straight guy. Now the long form content people want is live streaming where it isn't like research, it's just you living life and people get to live vicariously through you.
Well, that was morning radio local. I mean, yes, you go to the huge syndicate ones, they had big stars and things on the show. But your local radio guy was just, here's what's happening in this town right now, or this is happening with us. It really was living in the moment, but it could repeat itself every hour because nobody was listening from 6 to 10. So you could do 6 to 8, one thing, and you could cover the next story from 8 to 10. You're not playing tape of it, but you can kind of update, figure out what kind of worked and what was there so you can do it again, and you can do it that way. In podcast live stream, you can't really do that, even though a lot of podcasts do that. They just do another episode very similar, but a week or two later, or they do a bunch in the can like fucking Tom and Bert, and fucking just go. They don't even realize they missed out on a ton of shit. Speaking of that, by the way, Bobby, yesterday's show was in my wheelhouse. We start off by covering Angel Reese's new podcast. And she has one episode out, so we were shitting on that. Yeah, so I got to talk Caitlin Clark and WNBA.
Of course.
Right there in our wheelhouse. We talked Tom Myers, who, by the way, took the summer off. So his first week's monologue was about the first debate, not the one that just fucking happened. It was all about, so it was so fucking funny. It was so fucking outdated. It was crazy. We covered Chad Zumach and some other radio guy. They used to be the sidekicks on rival Ohio shows. One was called The Rover or something. A guy named Hoppy or something like that. I don't know. Either way,
Hoppy and Rover? Or Rover?
Yeah, so Hoppy was on, has a podcast now, and he had Zumach on to talk about dealing with assholes in Ohio radio. So we shit on that. And then, of course, Stuttering John threatening Shuley. We did that. So it was all my wheelhouse fun stuff. Radio, WNBA, comedy, and stupid.
Yeah. can't think of a better show for you.
It was
Quite
good.
honestly, unless if they also talked about midgets. If you throw in midgets, it's a Pat Oates hidden.
I wish there was not, but I put this out there yesterday in their show, and I'm gonna put it out here, and I'll put it out in a tweet later on. Tom Myers, if you'll have me on your show, I would like to be on Tom Myers versus the World. I would really like to be on. I will do the format. I will sit there and chuckle. I want to be on Tom Myers versus the World. And by the way, and I did suggest that maybe it should be Tom Myers likes the World. I don't know why he's fighting them, because the problem is that's why his jokes aren't relating, because he's fighting against them instead of being with them.
Also, like, you should work your way up to being versus the World. Like, it should be Tom Myers versus the other comics in the Baltimore, D.C. area. Then it could be Tom Myers versus the East Coast. Tom Myers versus America.
He did a monologue bit where the punchline was about the Baltimore open mic scene. It's like, who the fuck is getting this joke?
Are we convinced? Okay, let's be honest. How did Tom Myers first come onto your radar? Was it as a comedian, or was it through Nick Mullen?
Neither.
Really?
He's been my Facebook friend for fucking 10 years. I just knew him as a guy that would sometimes comment a little bit snarky comments on my Facebook. I didn't really, just some comic. And he would, once in a while, like when I was writing my articles, he would like some of them, but then like correct some of them. He was just, because comedians were friends with comedians, I think like 10 years ago. It's when Tom Myers name. I didn't know that he was like a joke thing until I heard Nick Mullen talking about him. I'm like, that can't be the same guy. And then when I started going on who are these podcasts, I confirmed it was the same fucking guy. And I'm like, that's why I said to Carl, Carl, I've been Facebook friends with that guy for like 12 years. Like, what? Like, yeah, we've been Facebook buds, I guess, forever.
I am thoroughly convinced that Tom is a writing partner of Nick's, and that they came up with this character 15 years ago, and there's going to be like a 20-year reveal, and we're all going to go, Tom is one of the greatest writers of all time.
Well, Nick could have really shared in the wealth a little with this scheme.
Do we know he's not? Like, how do we know that Tom's actually living with his parents, working at the 7-Eleven, or is that all just a rumor?
Well, it's not 7-Eleven anymore. Someone broke it down. Wherever he's working now, it's not 7-Eleven. He lost the job as a host at a restaurant, I guess. There was something else too. I don't know. Go check out the episode. It was a fun episode.
Sounds like a fun one, yeah.
Don't check out Tom Myers though. There's no point in that. But always fun to be on there. And also, since I was on Tuesday, they called me up. I think it was yesterday, Wednesday, or maybe it was Tuesday night. I forget. It was Tuesday night after our show. I will be headlining the Stress Factory in Bridgeport this Friday. I guess whoever the comic is the weekend couldn't do the Friday, so I'm doing one show 8:00. So if you're in Connecticut, you want to come down to a really cool club, head on down to Stress Factory in Bridgeport. You can buy tickets online. You'll see my dumb head up there. And buy tickets to come see me on Friday. New material. I'll probably do a couple of things because I gotta do fucking full set. So, but yeah, it'll be a mostly
headlining spot. Shit. Yeah, hell yeah, dude! Yeah. Congratulations.
I mean, it's not congratulations. I appreciate what you're saying, but when comics write that to me, I'm like, yeah, it's not a trophy. I'm a fucking comic. I'm supposed to get booked. No, I know you don't mean it that way, but I try to correct that because too many comics fucking just go hooray when they get shit. Like, no, you're supposed to get shit. Like, you're supposed to be good. So congrats is for something like if I had a baby. Congrats is not for something if I got booked in Bridgeport because DL Hughley couldn't make it.
The only reason I was saying congrats, and I know what you meant, and I agree with you 100%, is to be the guy that they know they can call in a tight spot that'll just be willing to step up.
I don't think I was the first call.
Oh, I thought you were their go-to
guy. No. I think I put it this way. Vinny didn't call me. Matt Lopes, my buddy who works for them and is a really good comic, messaged me and said, you available Friday? So when he's doing it, he goes, let me just make sure it's cool with Vinny. So I think Vinny just went, get somebody. And then he's just like, all right, I think Pat can do 45. And that was it. There is, I would love to sit there and go, I'm the guy in the go-to. No, I was one of the guys in the go-to or in the Rolodex if you're old.
Well, let me tell you a story, Pat. All right. John Jones.
Imagine if you will.
No, this is a true story. I didn't have AI write this one. No, John Jones was supposed to fight. His partner got hurt, couldn't last second. The only guy who said yes, Shael Sonnen. And you were the Shael Sonnen of the Stress Factory, my man.
So, hey, who got black people angry today? Husey, we talked about you on one of these podcasts as well. Talked about how people from other countries are on the radar of the Dabbleverse. I was like, there's this German guy for a while, then Husey rules. And that was about it. I'm like, he writes nice comments and fun things on our show sometimes, and I'm happy he's not mad at me because he seems like when he's mad at you, you don't want that shit. But yeah, we talked about Husey.
We even named an award after him. We're such big fans. And I would say they're
And
angry.
we've stopped giving it out, just like you.
But yeah, no.
But I digress, I guess. I don't know. Is that the thing? Do we digress?
I think digression is what got Ireland all mad when the North digressed from the South.
Aggression is what the Italians have.
Aye. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie. That's a digression. What do you want to start us off today, or you want me to start us off?
Go ahead. You light that candle.
I will light the candle indeed, sir. Do you remember who Reagan was?
Ronald Reagan?
Saved America, his economics trickle-down works? No.
Reaganomics?
Reaganomics would be awesome. This is unfortunately not as cool. This is Reagan the breakdancer from the Olympics.
No.
Who went viral for doing...
Oh, that's the Australian woman?
Yep, her name is
I didn't know her
Reagan.
name. I didn't watch the Olympics. I just saw memes. I didn't know her name.
Right. The only thing that came out of breakdancing was that this woman was not good at it, if you'll recall.
Yeah, she sucks.
Well, Reagan used to murder breakdancing. Today, we're talking about one of the most bizarre plot twists to hit the Olympics. No, it's not about someone losing a gold medal. It's about someone losing everything. 0 points, 0 respect, but still coming out on top. That someone is none other than B-Girl Reagan. Now, B-Girl, Pat, if you don't know, stands for breakdancing girl.
Yeah, it was a term in the 80s that just came back recently. But yeah, it was the Koreans brought it back, but B-boys and B-girls was a thing in the 80s.
What's up, B-boy?
Yeah. B-boy stance. That's in some song.
I do. That's where I know it from.
Right.
So that someone is none other than B-Girl Reagan, the breakdancer who took the Paris Olympics by storm. A shitstorm. We've all seen her routine at this point. It was as if Salvador Dali himself choreographed the routine. She hopped around like a kangaroo, slithered like a reptile, and brought the whole new meaning to creative interpretation. But here's the kicker. She scored 0 points. Like a chick learning she isn't OnlyFans hot, all that humiliation for no reward. Now, was this tragic misunderstanding of breakdancing or the most epic prank ever pulled? Some speculate Reagan's moves were an elaborate joke that just went a little too far. I've watched Australian comedy, and this level of corniness to them would be up there with the likes of Pryor and Carlin. But here's where the twist gets even crazier, Pat. After her viral flop, she is now ranked #1 in the world at breakdancing because the point system is warped as her performance. You see, her earlier win in the Oceania Championships carried over, while the Olympic performances didn't count for any rankings, so somehow she's ahead of everybody else. And if you look at the current breakdancing standings, arguably the most humiliating person is #1. It would be like if there was a comedy Olympics, Pat, and somehow Stuttering John ended up at the top. It's like one of those some surreal dreams where nothing makes sense. Reagan walks into the Olympics, fails spectacularly, goes viral for all the wrong reasons, and then wakes up the next day as the world's top-ranked breaker. You almost want to believe she planned the whole thing. Sitting around, drinking a couple beers, and goes, guys, I have the funniest idea ever. And then she just couldn't get out of it. It was like the joke people used to make about Trump when he was running for president. Like, oh, I'm going to do it. And then he got stuck doing it. And then he had to be the president for 4 years. So who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it Reagan, the chubby Australian, for ruining the sport of breakdancing? Is it the special or the whatever Olympics is happening now that we're supposed to care about? You should have,
I think.
Oh, it would have been funny if it was the special and they invited her, but Paralympics works too because she's clearly impaired. Is it breakdancing? Fix your fucking rules. Don't let the story come out that this girl's #1. Or is it me? For I'm still talking about it. In a way, it is kind of keeping breakdancing relevant. So she is kind of bringing attention to the sport. They say all attention's good attention, right? Nope, that's just the girls I dated. Pat, who's your piece of shit?
I don't think it's bringing attention to the sport. I think it's bringing attention to her, and then people looking up other bad breakdancers. I think this starts you to look at other bad performances. Like to me, the rabbit hole is more about like who's the worst national anthem, who's the worst, all the worst things that ever happened. No one's going to look for like Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo because they watched this lady. They're not trying to find better. The piece of shit in the story is the Olympic Committee, because I think this finally forces something that I thought should have happened for a long time. and I've thought this since the Dream Team in basketball. I think that not every team should be allowed to be in the Olympics in every sport for a multiple reasons. And this is one of them. This is just as a failure. But when the Dream Team was playing against like Angola and shit, and they were just destroying these people, it shouldn't have been allowed for Angola to even be there. A lot of the European teams should be there, but you're just, again, it's fun and all that. But Vince Carter, when he was dunking on everyone in the world and jumping over them, you don't need that in the Olympics. Like, you know, it's not just a guy getting dunked on a poster. It's the world. The world is watching you get jumped over by a black man going, "You suck. I'm teabagging you as I dunk." It's insane.
It's a clip I still use anytime I'm running a show as my background. Like I have that on a loop. It's so cool.
It's one of the most dominant things in the history of the world. And it's not a man dominating a man. It's a country dominating a country in a thing that's supposed to be about a celebration of unity. Vince Carter is dunking on everyone. In the same way that Australia has no reason to be in the breakdance game. And if they're in it, then you're doing it just for humor. I don't think she's in on a joke, but I do think that the Olympic Committee was like, how do we William Hung this? And I know I'm dating myself, but how do we William Hung this? How do we let someone in who applied in so we can have humor so someone pays attention to something? I think what they were trying to do was do this so the best breakdancers in the world now apply, because I don't think they applied before because there was no really money or reason to do it, and it wasn't their style. It's not a thing for a guy in Harlem to go to the Olympics in France and breakdance. Say, that's not my, fuck that shit, I ain't doing that. That's corny. But now you might want to say, fuck Australia and doing this, and fuck Korea for winning. Now we're going to see real American breakdancers come out and do something to claim that back. But now there should only be 12 allowed. Every sport should have 12 allowed, maybe 10 at the most. Listen, I like being in certain things, but America should only be in like long distance runs. Nobody white should be in there. And I know we have blacks, but we don't have blacks. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like Kenya, all those people, they should be in the sprints. Jamaica, not fucking Illinois. No, we should not be in there. Ours don't hang. Canada, get the fuck out of here.
I'd agree with you, but Noah Lyles just won the gold in sprints from America.
Because he was allowed in and they stopped other people from being in. And I don't care. We win a lot of the things, but I don't care about that. I watch black people being fast all the fucking time. They run by and steal my stuff. They take off, take our women. They do all that. I don't need to see it. I want to watch Uganda, fastest guy, get chased by a tiger and see who wins. Like, that's what I want to see. And no black people. Canada shouldn't be involved in fucking skeet shooting.
The Summer Olympics. They should only be in the winter.
Summer. You're right. Yeah. Nothing in there. We should be cutting it down, and this should be it. It should be a qualifier at the beginning to get in, and then maybe 8 teams in. That's for everything. For swimming, for fucking everything. Yeah. Nothing from Africa should be in the pool. Nothing. Not a fucking thing. And it did be, I know China did well, but they'll always do well if you give them time. Stop giving them time. Don't let China have time. If you let them do the math, they're going to fucking win. They learn how to do the flip, they do the diagrams, and they do that shit. But Chinese people shouldn't be swimming nor driving. They shouldn't be in there. Now, some of the things you let it go. Like case in point, the if you're cutting it down, the guy who shot without headphones, the guy who was just the greatest gun shooter of all times. Yeah, everybody from the Middle East should be in guns, of course, and then us. That's it. America, and then the Middle East, and they shouldn't be shooting at targets. They should be shooting at each other. That should be the best way to do it, and it'd be fine. But I think it's the Olympics for allowing this woman to be in here because they're letting everyone compete. That's the specials, not the regulars.
I kind of like your idea about like every country brings what they're good at. I think that's how we should fight war. Like you get to come up with 5 sports that represent your country. The country you want to fight gets to come up with 5 sports that represent them. So you want to fight Iowa? Great, you're in the hay baling contest. I bet you they beat you at that. You know what I mean? But I do think it's the Olympic Committee, but for the exact opposite reason. I think they brought her in on purpose to have a reason to kick out breakdancing. Like, it is not at the next Olympics. I don't think they ever wanted it. I think they saw her routine and were like, if we make a worldwide mockery of this woman, nobody's going to be mad that it's not in Los Angeles in 2028.
Is that why Jimmy Fredette was in the 3-on-3?
Yep. The same reason. They're like, if we let this dude who can't even make the NBA.
Oh. A guy who was the third best player on his Kentucky team. He just had a cool name. But
I honestly, it would have been great if it was him, Adam Morrison, and just Steph. And all we did was just shoot the ball wherever we caught it. That would be fun to watch. No defense. We're just going to outshoot you.
No, what I would have done is just for one more time, and being serious, and just do Dream Team all over again. Steph, don't play under the regular Dream Team. Steph, Clay, and Kevin Durant.
Oh man, that would have been fun.
Just go. You know what? You want? Do the old time guys. I bet you right now, even on 3-on-3, you do Magic, Bird, and Jordan.
They'd probably get the silver at least. They'd win the gold.
They'd win because no matter how Magic still plays every day. He runs.
Nobody would want to touch him.
No, we want to touch. Well, Africa would. They have no problem. That's like a mosquito to them. They have no idea. But they would just throw nets on them and hope for the best. But no one's going to stop Magic from backing them down in the post. And then all Jordan has to do is hit jumper. You don't have to hit three. And then Bird just spots in the corner. Fuck you. Like, who is stopping that? Or you just go, hey, Shaq, can you move? Because you're our fourth guy. So when we bring in a bed, we just have Shaq stand there. They wouldn't know what to fucking do. Half court Shaq, he's a tree.
When Larry has to go lay down halfway into the game because his back hurts, we'll put Shaq in, and then we'll get Larry back when his back's good. I love it, dude.
Or you be complete assholes and you just put in the Harlem Globetrotters.
Just curly
shit. And they're just spinning balls in their heads and fucking throwing popcorn on the ref and kicking your mom and all the fun things they do.
The most attended Olympic sport ever was the 3-on-3 finals because people just thought it was fun. Pants them, Curly.
It's Greece versus Harlem in the fucking 3-on-3 finals. It's Giannis, brother Giannis, and other Giannis versus our other Globetrotters. All right. Do you know? We're all familiar with the works of Elon Musk, right? The Musky man,
African American Elon Musk.
Yeah, you know how his daughter's kind of like got mouthy since she's been allowed to like talk. Like she's got a lot of opinions for a fucking girl that's got more money than God because her dad is a genius and she's just some dumb lady. But yeah, Elon Musk's daughter Vivian calls dad a heinous incel after he offered to give Taylor Swift a child. Have you heard about that?
No, yeah. Good for him. My man shooting a shot.
Elon Musk's daughter, Vivian Wilson, slammed her father after he offered to give Taylor Swift a child following the pop star's endorsement of Kamala Harris for president. The timing for the Taylor Swift endorsement of Kamala Harris honestly could not have been better. Can't wait to see the Swifties at the polls. Vote blue, the 20-year-old who came out as transgender in 2022. Okay, I think they mean Vivian because I don't think Taylor Swift came out as transgender, and I'm pretty sure Elon Musk didn't come out as transgender.
That would break the fucking internet if Taylor came out as transgender. She's got the
so many guys,
name.
Dude. So many men are like, "Oh, I'm not gay. I'm not."
No, fucking no. We've had that debate on here.
It would make sense why Travis Kelce likes her though. Wrote on Instagram's Threads Wednesday before addressing the Tesla CEO's strange X post. Also, yes, I saw the tweet. Heinous incel nonsense is in fact heinous incel nonsense. Did you call her dad an incel? That's weird.
It's weird to call your dad an incel.
Yeah, your dad.
You're the result that proves that wrong.
He's not an incel. Incel is a term for chronically online man with hostility towards women who consider him unattractive. That is not what it means. That is not the definition of incel. It has nothing to do with online. That might be her. She's what thinks it works. And that's the problem now. Everyone's just taking like demure and all that shit, just saying the new definition. No, the word has a meaning.
Yeah, like literally.
Yeah, that's how words work. Words literally have literally how words work. They have a meaning that's in a book. I don't know if you heard of it. It's called the fucking dictionary. Webster, Emmanuel Lewis is his real name, but Webster wrote that book, and it's all the words you need.
But literally, we've turned the word literally into the word figuratively.
Yes.
Like where now people say it to be like, no, literally. And it's like, that's not what that means. Same with irregardless. It is now a word because so many people didn't know to say regardless.
No, it's regardless of ears. That's what it means. Like even if you do not have ears, it's still regarding you. Your ear regardless. Um, Wilson said she did not have much else to add on the subject other than calling Musk's words abhorrent. I'll guarantee she doesn't know what that means.
No, that's like a 4-syllable word.
Yeah, it's a whore who has really good abs. Abhorrent.
And that's how she pays her rent on OnlyFans.
Yeah, with your stupid mouth. That much is obvious, and if you don't see how that, then you're part of the problem. That's also a good answer to everything all the time. If you don't get what I'm saying, then you're fucking dumb. Like, well, maybe you're not.
If I didn't explain myself good enough, you're the problem.
Yeah. You don't even know what you are. Fuck you. Don't tell me my problems when you thought you were a lady, then you thought you were a guy. You are not allowed to you can judge yourself, but once you fucking got you wrong, fuck off. You can't tell me my shit.
In the words of Gordon Lightfoot, you can't even run your own life. I'll be damned if you'll run mine.
Well, I don't think Gordon Lightfoot was talking about transgender people. But
what do you think? Sundown, you better take care if I find there's a dick hiding in your back stairs. What do you think that song was about?
That must be the fourth verse that I don't know.
It's the one they don't play on radio.
It's a dick in the stairs. That much is obvious. Okay. I would just like to say to my audience members, don't let people talk to you like that. It's disgusting. It's belittling and incredibly sexist. You deserve better. Well, who's your audience? While Wilson made it clear that she wants no association with the SpaceX founder, she felt it was important to speak on the matter. I really am not the biggest fan of this subject. I am my own person, my own name after all. However, I just feel like that had to be said, even if it's incredibly self-evident. Cheers, she concluded. Musk, who has fathered 12 children, shares Wilson with his ex-wife, Justine Wilson. I didn't realize he had 12 kids.
Oh, yeah.
The billionaire... I knew it was a bunch, but I didn't know it was 12.
He's like the Tyreek Hill of billionaires.
I think there's a lot more to Tyreek Hill than just that. The billionaire investor 53 faced backlash earlier Wednesday for seemingly offering to impregnate Swift 34 after the Fortnite singer posted a lengthy statement on Instagram endorsing Harris 59 in the 2024 presidential race. I'll be casting my vote for, it's Kamala, or is it Kamala? I say Kamala, but I think it's Kamala. Kamala, ba, 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 Kamala,
Whenever I start to say her name, I just get out the hard C sound, and then what follows rhymes with bunt. I always screw up.
That's not what I'm doing. I'll be casting my vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in the 2024 presidential election. The Grammy winner wrote alongside a photo of herself with her cat, Benjamin Button, just minutes after the Democratic vice president's debate against Republican candidate and former President Donald Trump. Swift cheekily signed her letter by calling herself a childless cat lady, referencing Republican Vice President nominee J.D. Vance's recently resurfaced comment that the U.S. was run by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices they made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. He's not wrong. Musk took it upon himself to respond to Swift in a way that several netizens deemed creepy and weird. Fine, Taylor, you win. I will give you a child and guard your cats with my life, he wrote on his X platform early Wednesday. Wait a minute, I didn't know the quote. Wait, that doesn't mean he wants to fuck her.
No.
He's just saying, I've got 12 kids, I'll give you one so you're no longer a childless cat lady.
And then I'll guard your cats to make sure you still get to be a cat lady too. But now you have a kid.
Yeah. It was just a joke. In other words, fine, because he said if that's the only reason why you're voting for her, I'll give you a cat. I'll give you a child. I'll watch your cat vote for Trump. That's all he's saying. He's a Trump guy. I mean, that's all it is. The businessman has been outspoken about his support for Trump 78 as well as his anti-trans views. That part's funny. You can't be anti-trans when you have a kid that's trans. Like, you can disagree quietly, but you can't be like, trans people are the worst. Have you met my daughter's son, Stinky McGee Wilson?
That's what I think he meant. Like, I've got a fucked up kid who would agree with your thoughts. You want him? Her?
Yeah, you want this thing? You want two? It comes in both.
I got a buy one, get 7 free deal.
Oh. In July, Musk claimed in an interview that his estranged daughter Vivian had been killed by the woke mind virus and that he was tricked into allowing her medical gender reassignment. Vivian petitioned a California court to change her name and gender in 2022, requesting to take her mother's last name. The then teen stated in her filing that she no longer lives with or wishes to be related to biological father in any way, shape, or form. Who's the piece of shit of the story? Is it Vivian Wilson for fucking calling her dad an incel, not knowing what that means? Reacting to her dad's fucking tweet, not knowing what that meant? Talking about her audience, not even having one. Just talking nonsense. And by the way, talk about how much she hates her dad and this and that, but the only reason anyone is listening to anything that she says is because her father is Elon fucking Musk. Is it Taylor Swift for coming out and endorsing Kamala Harris? I'm not saying that famous people can't endorse other people, but the way she has a following in a way of a cult, and that is real. The Swifties are fucking will do whatever that woman says. To do that, you are swaying people in a way that's going to make them feel like they have to, because now the other Swifties like, well, you didn't vote for what Taylor said, so then you're a loser. Now we're not friends. A lot of 18-year-olds who are still really in their mind 16-year-olds are going to be like afraid not to vote for something because this person did it. Is it Elon Musk? Again, you have a lot of people that follow you and do what you say, and you have a lot of power. I understand, once again, that's how you help get things going. But if we have a true election, Taylor Swift should shut her mouth the same way everyone else should shut their mouths about who they vote for. 30 years ago, you didn't talk politics. Now, Elon Musk we know he likes Trump, and we know that Taylor Swift loves Kamala. I shouldn't know any of that. No one should know who I'm going to vote for or anyone like that. The fact that they're doing this on social media, to me, Elon's doing it to keep people on X talking all the fucking time. Taylor's doing it because she's probably like, I only got 5 billion likes on my last post. So when I called my boyfriend Magic, so now I'm going to talk about fucking this. Is it anyone who gives a shit about what Taylor Swift, Elon Musk, or Vivian think? There are so many more people that you care about on the internet and listen to, but we Taylor Swift and Elon Musk are two of the most popular, so popular that when a tranny child says I want to talk about those two, now we're doing a fucking article on it. Who's the piece of shit in the story?
Oh, Pat, there are so many pieces of shit. It's hard to choose just one in this story. For starters, it's not Taylor Swift's fault, because we're almost at a point in society where if you don't declare which team you're on, everybody hates you. Like, it's gotten so bad that, like, it's pick a side or you're dead. There is no middle ground allowed anymore. And that's not how American politics was built. Spoiler alert, poor people like you and me were never supposed to be a part of political system. Anyone in this chat was not supposed to be involved in the process. Here's what was supposed to happen. You had
Clownface was.
Maybe Clownface.
Yeah.
He should be our president. He's got some good takes.
Yeah, really good taste.
Husey as VP.
He's not an American, but I'm in.
Yeah. But like, it used to be conservative and liberal, and then they would debate. And as a country, we would decide which side you landed on, if you liked how things were going or not, and then you voted. We weren't supposed to be involved in politics every day. Like, it wasn't supposed to be hammered down our fucking throats like it is. Even like Washington and Jefferson warned against this. Literally, you know that dude that everybody loves, the rap Broadway play they made, Hamilton? His plan was
Lin-Manuel, whatever.
Yeah, made about him, Hamilton. His whole plan that we pretty much adopted, minus this one part, was let's just elect a king who's then president for life so everybody can hate him. And as the populace, you're against the government, and it would set that up like it was supposed to. But and Terry, you're kind of right, but let's be honest, it was the Vietnam War where shit really started popping up. It's not just Obama this time. That definitely intensified things. So that's part of it. Like, we've created this culture where all of a sudden now I'm supposed to give a shit about politics and debate people on a daily basis. And if you don't speak up, it's violence. So that's strike one. Strike two. What's his daughter's name? Vivian
Wilson.
Oh, I don't want to be associated with in any way my biological dad. Oh, now all of a sudden we're going to pay attention to biology? Now we're going to allow biology to be a real science? But when it comes to other things, nope, it's how you feel on the inside. So she's a piece of shit for that. she's not a piece of shit for saying what she said. I mean, her dad wrote an article for the New York Times where he was basically like, my daughter's dead to me because she got a different political perspective than me. That's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
So I get her speaking up. Again, I don't think anybody really would care one way or another if she, like, I don't think anybody would listen if she wasn't his daughter, but I get that she spoke up because he said something. Elon, you don't get to comment on what's right and what's wrong when you fucked up. But the biggest piece of shit for me in this particular instance is the American health system. There are so many studies that say when we do pre-puberty hormones and things like that on children, it leads to one result: suicide. And everybody has chosen to ignore that science to make people feel comfortable. Like in a lot of European countries, they say instead of viewing puberty as the problem, let's see if it's the solution. Let's see how you feel when you get to 20. If at 20 you still feel the same way, then we'll do it. And the science shows that leads to better mental health for them. It's one of the highest suicide rates in any category across the world. And all we're doing is perpetuating it. The system's failed everybody here. And that's what's created this whole problem.
I know a lot of pedophiles feel that puberty is the problem.
Yeah, exactly. Is that the side you want to be on?
Good shit.
Congratulations, American health system. It's you and the pedophiles viewing puberty as a problem.
You gotta ruin that sweet puss with some hair. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, let's block that shit. Block it for life.
Yeah. Get out of here.
So yeah, I think that's all the pieces of shit, and that's the biggest one for me. Like, I know this is about endorsing one side or another, but it's all part of the same issue that everything we do is politicized. The jokes we made at the beginning of the show were just funny 20 years ago. Now it's a political statement and taking a stance. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah,
I didn't watch the
funny
debate
20 years ago. Take that.
No, I'm saying, like, it would have been just viewed as a joke. Now it's like, oh shit, they're making a stand. No, shut the fuck up. Did you watch the debate?
Yes.
I did not, and here's why. I wouldn't have been the Roman citizen watching Nero play the fiddle as the city burned to the ground. I'm busy putting out like, it's the death of an empire. It's so fucking
That's the
sad.
second time this week you've done that quote about that thing. You're big on the fiddle.
It's a great story for me. It's a perfect metaphor.
It's a great story, and I'm happy you're promoting it to people. I did not, and I think I said this here. I watched it, but I was basically just on my phone as my girlfriend was really into it. And I once in a while would go, oh, they eating cats? And then I would just go on Twitter and go like, oh, black people are fired up about this. Like,
yeah, that's fun. You made it fun. I'm okay with that.
I just was waiting to go to bed. I was tired. Like, it's a long talk about things. The debate used to be fun. It used to be a good time when Trump first started doing them. But now, because everyone's expecting Trump to be wild, that's what it is. But for somebody who was like, hey, I really want to know how you're going to handle the immigration. It is getting scary, and I can't get an answer. Hey, I really want to know what your thoughts are on abortion and stuff, because you're one person saying that you think the other one can kill people when they're babies when they're born already. The other one's saying there is no worse way, but that makes it better because there isn't one. But no one's giving me a fucking answer or a thing. When they say, hey, Trump, do you have a health care plan? He's like, we're working on it. I'm like, well, we're getting real close to when it's got to be, man. Like, you got to have something to present because they're too busy doing zingers.
That's what it's become.
I know. It's like, that's not worth watching anymore. I used to be invested in it, but now I'm not invested. And I want my vote to be with Trump. She did better in the debate. She didn't do well. He just did poorly, and she just didn't look as nuts. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that and I think you are forgetting this, he didn't win the last debate. Biden just literally died in front of all of us.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't do well. So Trump's not really on the same game. He is in his 80s. You know what I mean? And I know he's sharp as a tack for a guy who's 80, but that's not sharp as a tack for somebody who's her age that's got a Bluetooth thing in her ear, which everyone is fucking talking about. That earring she was wearing, that looks exactly like this thing. But by the way, who cares? Pat Mahomes gets people talking in his ear to tell him where to throw the ball. I don't give a fuck if someone's telling her what to say. That's what the president is. The president is a figure piece where a bunch of people tell them what to do. So she's already learning how to do that. That's fine. Who gives a fuck if that's told? But I'm saying I'm not getting anything out of these debates anymore. You're not learning it. It's just sound bites and jokes.
Say what you want. Maybe she had an earpiece, maybe she didn't. But like, it wasn't set up like a debate. Like you said, it wasn't people putting their platform out there. It was, I think Dave Smith said it best, where it was like, hey, Trump, a lot of people say you're a piece of shit. Why would you say you're a piece of shit? And then, hey, Kamala, why do you think Trump's a piece of shit? And it would just set them up to fight. It wasn't designed to make it work. And it's nuts. Like, we aren't acknowledging reality. There's no proof that people are eating cats. Then why can I see 9 videos if I go to Twitter right now from that town? You know what I mean? It's just fucking nuts. Politics is dumb. The best thing that could happen is that this election leads to the complete loss of power for the executive branch. Like, the president was never supposed to have this much power. And let's go back to how it should have been. That's all I'm saying.
Ed, I believe you're right in their demeanor, but Trump didn't answer a question. And I know it's becoming his thing, but it's just like he wants to keep battering this one thing over and over again. Just answer the questions or things are being challenged. I also didn't like the way the debate was run because I've never seen 2 moderators be allowed to correct and fact check.
Only one debate. Side. Yeah.
I mean, they did it one choice or the other, but yes, it was very heavy-handed in how they did it. But it was really dumb in that way. And those 2 look like AI made those 2 motherfuckers. Let's make a light-skinned black lady and a fucking white thing. I don't know who the fuck those were.
I was messing around.
You are correct.
I was messing around with Adobe Character Animator, and it literally looks like some of the characters you can choose. I want to see these people.
I was messing with the Adobo character maker, and it's just all Spanish people going, "Oh Goya, oh boy."
What's crazy is you don't know how close that is to what I was actually making.
Nice. What do you got?
But okay. Well, Pat, we've talked a lot about politics. Let's move away from that. What do you say?
Doing transitions. Just do it. Well, Pat, speaking of gay, here's my asshole. I was like, no, just do the thing.
Cowboy Carter, snubbed by CMAs despite being certified bootylicious.
Wait, is that Beyonce's fucking country album? Is that Cowboy Carter?
That is Cowboy Carter, yeah.
I confused Cowboy Carter with Cowboy Curtis, when Lawrence Fishburne played the black guy on Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Oh, that should have been at the CMAs too.
By the way, I should have said played a cowboy, not played a black guy. He's been a black guy the whole time.
He went full Robert Downey Jr. on Pee-wee's Playhouse. But yeah, Cowboy Carter snubbed at the CMAs despite being certified bootylicious. Cowboy Carter, Beyonce's genre-blending masterpiece, sits at the top of the charts, breaking boundaries in country music. The CMA nominations drop, and there's Beyonce. To the left, to the left, to the left off the fucking list. It's like walking into a rodeo and realizing the cowboy who has won the most trophies has been excluded. Here's the kicker. This wasn't just a regular album. Cowboy Carter wasn't Beyonce's first rodeo into reshaping genres. She covered Dolly Parton's Jolene and made it a hit again. How do you snub someone who takes Dolly's sacred song and somehow makes it better? But wait, there's more. I agree. I don't know who wrote this article.
She most certainly did not.
But wait, there's more. Miley Cyrus was featured on the album too, and yet not even a whisper of Beyonce's name among the nominees. Maybe she could have called Billy instead. It certainly worked for Old Town Road. Now, some say this, yeah, right? Like, go with the actual country star, not a pop star. Just a thought. Now, some say the CMA just isn't ready for the Bayhive. That maybe country music's gatekeepers still have a handle with care sign when it comes to blending genres. But let's stir the pot a bit. What if, and hear me out, this was all part of a secret backroom deal, orchestrated by none other than Post Malone? There's something about him that makes me feel like I shouldn't trust him. Oh yeah, it's how he looks. Tens of thousands of years have used evolution to heighten human instinct to the highest level possible. I'm not going to turn...
Beyonce said all this?
No. This is just the author's opinion, apparently. I'm not going to
Bill
turn...
Pueblo.
This is not a Bill Pueblo. I'm not going to turn off that instinct because White Iverson practices acting like a teddy bear in public. Yes, Post Malone, the guy who got 4 nominations himself, might be playing some Texas Hold'em of his own. Could he have said, look, let me snag a few of these and I'll trade you face tattoos for a Grammy down the line? I mean, the man's known for his genre hopping, and now suddenly he's the golden boy of country? Coincidence? I don't think so. And look, I have it on solid authority that the man shoots a crossbow. That alone should disqualify him from the CMAs. I get that genre hopping is something that they've become more inclusive of as of late, but I still think we're a ways off from the CMAs accepting gender hopping. And I don't know any men who use crossbows. So, Pat, who's the piece of shit? Who is the piece of shit in this story? Is it Post Malone for orchestrating a backroom deal to keep Beyonce off the chart so he could be the genre hopping star? Is it?
Didn't do that.
I don't know. He may have. Is it Beyonce for not being more aggressive about this? Like, truly, it was on the number one in the charts and you've been snubbed. I kind of get not saying anything about it, but it feels like now might be the time to speak up. You know, Shabuzi, all that stuff. Like, it doesn't feel like this was a racial thing because they have accepted so many African Americans at Darius Rucker. You know what I mean? So I don't think it was racial. I think it was just like, hey, you've got your own.
They've accepted so many African Americans. Darius Rucker and the list.
And Shabuzi.
He's not country. I'll get into that in my thing in a minute. Go ahead.
No. That's fair. I see what you're saying. Yeah. But I feel like this is just, hey, you're a star somewhere else. The CMAs was kind of done as a response to the Grammys not including country stars or making it, they made it their own thing. Now everybody's kind of accepted everywhere. Taylor Swift would be the best example. But maybe they're saying, hey, like, you get your time to shine when it comes to the Grammys. We're going to highlight these people that maybe the rest of the world doesn't notice. Is it the CMAs? Come on. It's the best-selling country album. What are we doing? Is it me for choosing this story? Pat, we'll throw it to you first.
No, I like the story. It's topical. It's a good thing to do. I mean, we should have things that people care about. People care about Beyonce. It's nothing wrong with that. It's not the top-selling country album. It's not the top. It's not even close to that. It's not a country album. She decided to call it country, put on a cowboy hat, and she's like the girl that's dating a guy that likes that works. Like when Jewel became a country person because she dated the bull champion, the bull riding champion. It's like you're not a country person. You lived in a van in Alaska. You're a hood rat bitch. Like you got a lot of money. Post Malone made a country album because country has not become pop, but the regular pop music, like your pop hits, that shit, like the Ed Sheeran, that shit. I mean, actually, Ed Sheeran kind of falls into what I'm going to talk about next anyway, but like pop's become kind of like your Sabrina Carpenters, your Ariana Grandes. It's just like, just that, electric music in the background, whatever. Country has become pop for singer-songwriters. That's really what it's become. And Beyonce did not try to make a singer-songwriter album. She tried to make a pop album that had country twang to it. Same thing with Shabuzi. Same thing with Lil Nas X. They're calling it country because they're using a little bit of the twang, a little bit of their genre, but they're just doing fusion. It's like it's like when two restaurants come together, like an Italian-Korean fusion. It's like, it's not Italian, it's not Korean. It's just two wacky things together. Post Malone went and did duets with every famous person from the past and the present of country to do this celebration of a genre that he says he kind of fell in love with. And flat out is saying, I'm not a country singer, but he wrote country songs. They're not pop. There's one out of that whole album. There's like two Post Malone type songs, and they're pretty good, but every other song is literally a guy trying his best to write what it is. Now, some of it seems kind of funny because it is like if you asked AI to write a country song and then put two famous people in it, because the word, like, pour me a drink and all these, they are literally just country songs from like 10, 15 years ago, but he wrote a country album. But Beyonce's album isn't better than anything that Blake Shelton or Luke Bryan or Luke Combs or Chris Stapleton are putting out right now. Those are country people right now. You know what I mean? She just put out this album. She just thought, my name's so big and my following so big that I should just win every award. But you were disrespecting country music. You didn't care about, you just thought I'd come in. Taylor Swift was put in pop because so many young girls liked her. But if you just take the music, somebody talking about their problems in their past, that's a country genre. And she's a singer, and that's where singer-songwriters go now. That's where they just happen to move over to. Like a lot of the older musicians kind of end up being in country stuff, not because they want to be, it's because it's not pop anymore. The things that were in the 90s are that Darius Rucker didn't change what he did. Yes, they changed it. They used a banjo and a little more tin in their drum. But if you listen to Hold My Hand and songs like that whole album, that's a country kind of album, but it just was put in pop places because country then wasn't taking it on. So you can't just jump into country genre and go, well, I'm Beyonce, I wear a cowboy hat, so let me win the CMAs. That's not fair to everyone that's in the CMAs. And if they turn around, and if Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani do a song, and they're like, why didn't we win the pop awards? Well, because you didn't do a full pop fucking album. It'd be the same goddamn thing. You got one person that's kind of pop, but you're doing that thing. Post Malone's album is a great fucking album. I've listened to it through and through a couple times. And it's because you get to hear, he has a song with Dolly Parton. Instead of saying, I wrote a better version of fucking Joe. First of all, every fucking karaoke bumpkin in the world and everyone that's ever been on America's Got Talent or American Idol, that shit, always trying to cover Jolene. Every white girl in the world who's like, yeah, I like a country song. Which one? Guess. It's Jolene, you stupid bitch. That's the only song you fucking know. You don't cover Jolene. You don't cover I Will Always Love You. You don't cover certain fucking songs. You don't cover Yesterday. Fuckers try to do that. There's certain songs that are a stamp on that thing, and you don't fuck with it. Post Malone didn't try to cover shit. And when he did something at Live at the Opry, he covered it with the people that sang the fucking song. But he wrote original songs and let the other country artists write with him, and did not try to say it's my shit. He was introducing them to his world. He helped out country music to go into pop like that way. And then he got brought into their world. There was a collaboration. She has put on a cowboy hat because Jay-Z's fucking white women like lemonade.
I agree with 99% of what you say.
All right. The bitch ain't one. Good night, everybody. Let's go.
No. You're absolutely right about the songwriting thing and things like that. I remember my dad got really into country when we moved to PA. And I was like, why do you like country music? He's like, don't you get it? All these guys I listened to growing up would have been now that like they were considered pop or rock, but they would have been country today. And I get that. And I do agree that Post Malone did make an actual or attempt to make
Jim Croce would be country.
1,000,000%. Harry Chapin for sure.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Both of those. And like those were
James Taylor.
Staples. Yeah. Dan Fogelberg. All those guys.
The Berg can do whatever he wants. I don't know what you're saying. The Fogelberg is at everything.
But so I do agree with that. I would say anything Beyonce's put out is probably more country. And I'm going back to Destiny's Child than anything Blake Shelton's ever done. That rhinestone fucking Brokeback wannabe cowboy motherfucker.
Well, what about his song about a dog that's mean?
Yeah, that somebody else wrote. He's a pop guy who buys country songs and puts on a twang. And then probably goes
a lot
home
of them are that, though.
And gets paid by
Taylor was actually writing songs for other people. And they're like, wait, you're good. You should do it. Like he was going to sing Taylor Swift songs. That was going to happen if she never became famous.
That's what he said about, like, you know what song he was going to do? He was going to say, I Knew You Were Trouble was about Gwen Stefani when she got hired by The Voice. Because it led her to cheating on Sweetheart. Oh, God. Can't believe
By the way, do you get Terry's joke? Because it shouldn't be overlooked. That's why I put it up. It's very good.
They were the ones who had sex with each other, right?
No, the Osmonds had a song that said, I'm a little bit country, I'm a little bit rock and roll. So Terry's wordplay was fantastic. I didn't want to let that go. It's a well-written joke.
No, thank you.
You get it, you get it. If you move on, you move on. I didn't want to let that one go. Terry nailed without over-explaining. Terry did exactly what Tom Myers can't. Anyway,
made a tight joke with a punchline.
Yeah. But also
Relevant
just said if you don't get it, you don't
about.
get it, and move the fuck on. But yeah, it deserves something there. So
I didn't realize that was their song. That is a great joke.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I agree with that. I don't like Blake Shelton. He's, as I've said a million times, he's the epitome of I'm a pop guy who's singing country songs because I can throw on a twang. I think he probably goes home and gets pegged every night by Gwen Stefani. And you might say, should I say allegedly? I'd say there's no doubt.
Ew. Okay, but an example of a person that is country that became pop because of just his personality and popularity, Morgan Wallen is so much in the zeitgeist of everything now that like he even his songs, he'll write a country song, but then do a collaboration with a hip hop artist and brings their world in and out. Like him and Malone getting together was a perfect fit.
Huge.
They are like the white men of their genre right now of what they do, and they have huge fan bases that may not know each other. And just by getting them together, that was why he was smart to put that song out together first to get everyone listening to the other ones. He used popularity people. He wasn't dumb in what he did. The first three singles released were Morgan, Blake, and then Luke Combs. I mean, very smart to go to those three groups right there because you're basically covering everything. And yeah, he's got female ones too, and more will drop. But it was very smart in that way. But Morgan doing that was a very good move. Blake was just like the same way he did it with Dolly, just being nice. You know what I mean?
No. I think fucking Post Malone was like, I'm gonna put out a real country album. Would you like to do something actually country for once? And Blake was like, I could do that.
But even that song's not that country. But it's a country in wording, but like whatever. But no,
but no, there's
that could
something.
be. Go ahead.
No, I think you bring up a brilliant point, like about he going and I'm going to respect the people who came before me. The opposite example I could think is Ariana Grande, where she went out and got the African American artists who inspired her and would use them in the songs and give them writing credits. And then when people criticized her for, oh, she's adopting black music, it was like, no, I'm the opposite of Elvis. I went and did my research and I'm using these legends on these, you know what I mean? And there's something where people go, oh, you are respecting the genre that you're trying to hop into. It'd be like if all of a sudden you went to do sketch comedy and you hired the guy from I Think You Should Leave. They'd be like, oh, Pat went and at this time, that is the best guy at doing sketch comedy. You know what I mean? So,
right. No, totally get that. And I think more importantly, and we talked about this the other day with Ben Affleck, all these people have become like brands now, and these brands have a huge following. But I would hip hop's following is very good, but it's fickle. It like because of all the dissing and all that stuff and diss tracks and stuff, they kind of jump from one thing to another. Like 3 years ago, you could have said Drake was the most popular guy, not the best, but by far, but the most popular. And now it's like, a year or two later, no, get the fuck away from him. This guy, that they all do that. Country, though, that's the most loyal fan base there is in music right now. It used to be like rock bands and stuff like that. You stick with your Led Zeppelin to die. It's country now. You're a Luke Combs guy. You love Luke Combs forever. You listen to everything he has to say. You love certain people. You love them for always and forever. And that's who it is. So, but
when I see Terry in the chat say Toby Keith burn in hell, it takes me a second to realize he hates Taylor Swift because I love Toby Keith so much. I'm like, what? Wait a second, fuck you. And then I go, oh no, I get it. He's right.
Right. But it really is, and Taylor Swift is one of the few people that also has done that where her fan base is insane. Everyone else we named, even Beyonce, people are fans of Beyonce but also love other people. Some of these people, the country ones, it almost becomes like a football team for them where they root for that guy. They're fine when they play with them, but if they're against them in any way, fuck you, that's my person. And Beyonce should have embraced it the way Post Malone did. The saying they did backhanded, he didn't need it. He's not even on her radar right now when it comes to like singles and hits. He's put out so many more singles and hits in the last 3 years than she has. She's just slowed down. She has monstrous hits. Don't get me wrong. She's basically a one man Black Lady Beatles band with all her hits and stuff. But like, he embraced it in the other way, but also grabbing all their fan base. He knew that each single dropping would be the first single a lot of them would hear, but it's also their first time hearing him. But people aren't just going to go, oh, because you saying you're singing country, Beyonce, I'm now as a country fan going to drop who I listen to and go to this? Fuck that.
And she had that opportunity. Like, she could have incorporated all these female country either stars of today or legends, and people would have loved it, would have been a huge new fan base. Can you imagine a Reba and Beyonce duet?
Forget that. A Carrie Underwood, Beyonce,
Yeah.
two women being mad at men. Holy shit, that song would hit every radio station in the goddamn world.
Oh, dude, take it a step further. They make it a triplet, and they get Taylor to do a verse. Now you've got Black Beyonce, White Beyonce, and Country Beyonce all on a team. It's like the superhero league of Beyoncés.
I would say you've got Taylor Swift, Black Taylor Swift, and White Trash Taylor Swift. But still, okay, you go either way you want.
Wait, when do we bring Gretchen Wilson into this?
When do we not?
But for me, just to give my piece of shit real quick, it would be Blake Shelton.
Yeah, okay.
For cheating on Miranda Lambert.
Oh, okay. I was like, what are we doing? I got time for like one more thing. So that was a long talk on country music.
I enjoyed it.
No,
Welcome to our new show. It's Hopper in the Bus. We talk
You know what?
country hits.
It's better than Tuesday's fucking Ben Affleck moments.
Yeah, dude, Affleck Radio.
Jeez. All Affleck all the time. Casey, fuck you. All Ben all the time.
Shouldn't have sexually assaulted those women, Casey.
My family was held like criminals after a simple passport issue. It was traumatic and we missed our vacation. I think we've read stories like this before, that when someone goes over and the paperwork's wrong and then they think they're criminals. They went from traveling abroad.
Pat, can I just tell you how lonely I am? You said criminals held after passport issue. I was like, man, I wish I was a criminal that was held.
The TSA cuddling now? Let me get in that shit. They found a weapon on him. Was it a big spoon or a little spoon? I'd like to be held, please.
Be gentle when you pat me down. I'm very sensitive. It's been a while.
We haven't done a Husey in a while, and I don't know why I feel like this should be it, but Carrie makes the wood. Just out of all the conversation we had where we were there was no sexism in any way. We were talking about the writing and the power of these talented people, and then Kevin's like, yeah. Remember how Carrie Underwood makes me hard?
She used to. The reason she doesn't anymore.
She used to make Kevin hard, but not anymore?
No, me. And
I don't want to know what two boners.
But here, I'll tell you about a boner killer then.
All right.
Here's what killed the boner. She dropped a Christmas album. And I don't know if you know this. She has a line.
I watched her pick it up. Yeah.
That's been the POS show, folks. It's not getting better than those two puns. But she has a line of fucking yoga at Dick's Sporting Goods. So because she dropped a Christmas album from the 1st of November through January 14th, nonstop, they just played her album on repeat. Yeah. Literally, the CIA couldn't come up with a better.
Yeah, but when I was working at Big Lots, we did that with Ariana Grande's Christmas album. Like, it was not every song, and most of them are about fucking Santa Claus. Like, I don't mean, I'm not calling him an asshole saying you're fucking Santa. I'm talking about her having sexual relations with Santa Claus.
Santa baby, blow your load on my face.
Yeah, she's like, drop your tea bag into my mouth. I know you live down south. Now give me AIDS. That's her song.
Deck my cunt with that big fat Santa cunt.
Ho, 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 you're a ho. Okay, a UK mom claims her family were detained for 24 hours like criminals and forced to miss out on their $8,000 vacation after arriving in Turkey with an expired passport. It's a real honest mistake. We didn't deserve the treatment. Amber Malherlahan, 28, told Kennedy News Agency of the traumatic ordeal. I will never do that again in my lifetime. What, vacation in Turkey? Yeah, who the fuck does that? What are you, a mule?
We can stop the piece of shit story right now.
The mother of one had reportedly flown with fiance Will Landsmith. I think he puts the land in there, so it was like, Will Smith. Like, no, Will Landsmith. 31 and 6-year-old son Ruben from London to Antalya, Turkey on August 5th for a week-long getaway in the idyllic seaside locale. This is how bad England sucks. England sucks. In America, if you live in Idaho and you want to see the water, you can just stay in America. Like, I'll go to California. I'll go to Florida. I'll go to a lot of different wonderful places. You have to go to fucking Turkey to fucking get to seaside. London's so dumb. London's a big old suicide. That's all it is. Just like, I'm sad. I'll go to fucking Turkey.
I would just like to counter for 1 second. England's a fucking island. You don't have to go to Turkey to go see the seaside.
You just go to the side. There's water all over the place. The Thames River, whatever the fuck is. Wait, is Bob Levy really in Turkey for new teeth? I thought they did that kind of stuff like in South America, not Turkey.
Turkey's a hot spot as well. It's like a tier up.
Wait, why can't he get teeth here?
That's a tier above Turkey. There are tiers. So, like, if you really can't afford dental care, that's when you go to South America.
Yeah, but you still have to fly there.
Or you could drive.
If you don't spend to South America?
Yeah. It's a long bus trip. But
from New Jersey?
I'm pretty sure there's a China bus that runs.
But, like, if you can't, I hate to say it, but that's what's the term, N-word rich? Like, when you're like, I'm going to I can't afford these teeth, but they have teeth I can't afford in Turkey. So I'll pay for a plane or a bus or whatever it costs so much more than the teeth here to go there for cheaper teeth.
The real key, the like cost to benefit ratio, is if you find a dentist who emigrated from Turkey and is now not licensed in the United States, and they'll just kind of do it at cost.
They get there and they look at the old teeth and they're like, I've never seen this much tartar. He's like, that's blue cheese. I'm like, okay.
Oh God, we looked you up. Oh no.
That was the old me. Why can't Shuli get him a Jew deal on teeth?
Because Levy wants gold caps.
Well, he's in Alabama, Shuli, so he can do both. He can help with everything there. Dude, somebody, and I'm not saying this is right or whatever, but when I was on Who Are These Podcasts yesterday, I could see their comments too. And someone said, did anyone else ever notice that Pat is funny, Shuli?
That's just mean.
I don't know. I think, first of all, I think Shuli is a very funny guy. I've seen him do stand up. He's a pretty funny guy. But it was just a very funny thing to say because, like, I'm also not Jewish. I think the only thing is we're bald with glasses. There's no other comparison between me and Shuli, good, bad, or indifferent. It was just very. Oh, you know, if you noticed that, like, Pat's got the same head as that guy, but I find Pat funnier right now.
And it's not even like your voices are different, your styles of comedy are different.
Everything is so different. It's not
completely different. Yeah, it's so funny.
Things initially appeared to be going swimmingly as the family went through 2 passport checking stations and boarded the plane without incident. It wasn't until they arrived in a Middle Eastern country that their trip took a turn for the worse. We came into Turkish Airlines to the passport control. My son's passport was the last passport at the bottom. The officer went through our passports and said it was all fine. She added, he saw my son's and just started shouting and saying, the police are being called. Your passport's expired and you won't be allowed in the country. Yeah, but like that's the law. Authorities subsequently revealed that Ruben's passport expired on April 16th, 2024, nearly 4 months before the trip. I had no idea the whole time. It was called out of date. It was out of date, the boy's distraught mom recalled. Britt said she was absolutely terrified because she didn't know what was going to happen. I said, I'm so sorry. I don't know what to do. She said her family was held by police for 24 hours, during which they were treated like criminals. They took me to an office with 4 officers and said, you're not allowed in this country and there's nothing you can do, the petrified parent said. They tried to get me to sign this paperwork and snatch the passports out of my hand. They wouldn't give them to me. They were tossed into a room for 13 hours with 1 bottle of water, a bed with no sheets, and very little food. Were they supposed to be like fed? It's not a fucking Hilton. You're at the airport in Turkey in the Middle East, and you have illegal paperwork. Yeah, they're going to do the best they can. They don't have a fucking 5-star hotel ready to fucking go. They're not ready to house you because everyone else isn't fucking stupid. Okay, anyway.
No. You know how you and I are reading slightly how I could tell if I was reading an article, like if it was on the sources I had, when it said things went awry when they landed in the Middle East, I would have gone, no shit. That's what my stories would have said. Things tend to go awry when you end up in the Middle East.
Right. They put a rotten tomato and an egg in a box and kicked it across to me. The floor was disgusting. The toilet was disgusting. She added, I curled up in the corner where the radiator was. Some of the guards terrified me. When the gal asked for her luggage, the guards refused, only giving them Ruben's bag because it was small. They reportedly rifled through the tight stuff and threw his clothes around the room, despite the fact that they'd already gone through security. Following the layover from hell, her fiance and son left the airport and tried to secure a temporary travel document for Ruben in a last-ditch attempt to salvage the trip. Despite their best efforts, the mother and son were forced to fly home the following day because there was no guarantee that the paperwork would allow them to enter the country. The woman said the police officers grabbed her and escorted her to the return flight, sans letting her grab any food. She said that the flight attendants wouldn't even return the passport while aboard, adding that they were spoken to rudely. I would never fly that airline again. She claimed that the Odyssey was a huge financial blow as she spent over $7,800 on a trip that never happened, plus the out-of-pocket cost for a separate flight home. While the bedraggled Brit acknowledged that she made a silly mistake, she said that the way she was treated with a child wasn't fair. I'm going there as a family to spend money on things to support their country, and I'm treated in such a bad way. She also warned. It goes to a whole fucking thing about how she feels she was wrong. Who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it this woman for not complying and not having what she's supposed to have? I mean, she can say that I was treated bad, this, now, whatever. You wouldn't be treated bad if you had your passport. Your kid is 6 fucking years old. How often do you travel? I'm guessing that maybe the kid traveled once or twice. He has a passport, but the passport expired 4 months earlier. You're not checking that paperwork. You're taking your child to the Middle fucking East. This feels like, to me, if I saw this, I would be the same way as them. Are they trafficking this child? This child was to be there. Did they get some weird paperwork? What's going on? Why are you coming here to Turkey for vacation? What the fuck? So is it the woman for not having this out? Is it the Turkish police and the TSA of Turkey and all that for not fucking being more understanding? Yeah, you're a family with a kid. Yeah, you fucked up. And not being able to get them going through it. Yes, I know paperwork takes a long time, especially when it's different countries and stuff, but 24 hours is a long time to be sitting there doing that. Is it the husband? Didn't hear from him once in this whole article. What was going on with that guy? He was just sitting there watching. He probably laid in the corner and slept for 24 hours. Like, finally, some rest. Because I wanted to go on vacation to somewhere cool. Like, and then we went to fucking Turkey. It's a Bob Levy for going to Turkey, and he has his paperwork, but this baby doesn't. Bob Levy should have given his paperwork to the baby, and then he could hang out there, and then he could be on the Shuli's network, live from the fucking Turkish prison. Who's the piece of shit?
Oh, this is easy. It's the mom. 1,000,000%. It's not even double checking your son's passport. If you travel internationally, they ask you like 10 times for the expiration date. Like, you have put in the wrong date that it's expired. You're a woman in the Middle East expecting to be treated nicely, but you came in with a kid who had an expired passport, and then instead of it being like normal about the situation, it sounds like you were like, well, how do we get him in? No, we have to go. Like, that's not how you handle this situation, particularly internationally. When we were going to do the show at the brouhaha together,
Yeah.
I was flying back from Myrtle Beach. There was a typo on the ticket. It said my birth year was 1 year more than it was. And so, like, when I went to get in, they were like, oh, there's a problem. You're going to have to go to the front desk. Instead of being like, fuck you, I need to fly, the first thing I did was like, hey, I'm just anxious about my flight. I promise I'm not mad at you. If it comes across that way, it's just a little anxiety. Second, how do I resolve this situation? If you come in with that attitude, even though it's the Middle East and you're a woman, they're probably going to treat you a little nicer. If you come in with the, oh, I'm sorry, I screwed up mentality, they'll help you figure it out. You're probably going to end up in a one room with maybe 3 waters and hopefully a pillow at least, but it's going to be the same thing because that's the amenities they have to offer. If you were to get detained in the United States, it'd be better because most of the international airports here are of high quality. So there's that. Then why would you choose Turkey? I get they have some seaside towns that are known for their tourism, but it's not the best time for relations in the Middle East. Shit's kind of popping off. More importantly, did you know this, Pat? The capital of Turkey is Istanbul.
Yeah, there's a song about that, I think.
Yeah, and it was once Constantinople. And do you know what happened in Constantinople?
Oh.
That's the city Nero played the fiddle in while it burned to the ground. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the POS show. It doesn't get better than that. I was teasing. You're a piece of shit. It's the mom for me, 100%.
Right. I also agree it's the mom. And it's the mom for how she handled herself afterwards. The paperwork's a mistake. It fucking happens if you overlooked it. You should have looked into it, but you didn't. You fucked up. But then she called that mistake silly. And that's the first time they're going to be like, do not call this silly. There's a lot of heightened shit in this world, especially in the Middle East. For you to say it's silly for us to check our paperwork is insane. And then you started to just tell them to brush it off. Doesn't matter. I'm spending money in your country. Well, those guys aren't getting that money. And you're acting like a fucking stuck up bitch by saying, I'm spending like $8,000. Do you understand what I'm doing? Like, grow up. Do you know how many people go to the Middle East into Turkey with like billionaires that go there and spend money? Like, not $8,000 fucking dollars while they're bringing a screaming baby and some guy to the fucking airport. The fact that you're acting like your shit is so important and you should be treated differently because you're on vacation, you didn't handle your vacation right, and you're doing something that's very hard to do post 9/11. Not so much for them. I know that was even beforehand for them, but everyone has stepped it up, and everyone since then is like, we have to make sure we're checking things. If a woman comes out and she's all loud and stupid, and she's got a passport of a child that's not correct, and a guy who's being quiet and weird, all my flags are trafficking or kidnapping or something right there right
Drug
away.
smuggling.
What, you're coming here for a vacation. You're naming the amount of money you have on you. It almost seems like you're have certain facts that you have in your head to be ready to fucking go. And in saying it's silly, trying to blow it off because in reality you're panicking because your cover's been blown. That's all the things I would think. Now, I don't think that's the case. I really think she's just a dumb bitch that fucked up. But it's her for even thinking that it's okay to act like this isn't a big deal. You're flying to the Middle East from London, and with all the shootings in the world and all things going on, it doesn't. And you can't be like, well, I'm just some lady. No one gives a fuck who you are. It's not genders anymore. It's all about if you've got the right paperwork. If you're gonna fly your fucking child, check because yours was up to date. Why didn't you check? And that's the part that blows my mind. How you would not, as a parent, check to make sure your kid's paperwork is okay.
That'd be the number one thing. I don't even have a kid, and I know that would be the priority over my shit.
Because your kid can't check it.
Right. Exactly. It's like, I know you're supposed to secure your mask and then your kids, but you're looking after your youngling, you know?
And like Terry said, who wants a fucking 6-year-old coming to your country anyway? Nobody wants that shit.
Absolutely. I also love the fact she was like, you know how much money I was going to spend in your country? Spoiler alert, bitch, you still did. They're getting that money regardless. Those things are non-refundable.
Yeah. It's fucking dumb.
Should have gotten travel insurance through Travelocity. It's like $19.
Well, everybody, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, all that fun shit. If you're in Connecticut at all, come down to Bridgeport tomorrow, Friday night, to see me headline at the Stress Factory in Bridgeport. Just go to their website. I think it's stressfactory.com. I think if you go to the regular one, you can just click over to the Connecticut one or Stress Factory Bridgeport. I'm not sure. Check that out. Or just Google Stress Factory in Connecticut. Buy your tickets. Come see me headline there. I'm not sure who else is on the show, but because they booked the whole thing last second. But it's Friday night. Come check me out there. If you get a chance, go watch, take out Who Are These Podcasts, my latest appearance on there. It was a lot of fun. Head over to our Patreon as well. Bobby, you got anything else?
Yes, I do. If you are not in the Connecticut area and you find yourself in the Philadelphia area, head to Soul Joel's. Kevin Dombrowski's headlining, and there might be a fun guest spot unless he finds something better to do with his time. That'll be a fun one. Dave and I just put out a new episode where we talk about him reading Earl's emails over on the Tales from the Satellite on Dave's Patreon. Head over there to check it out. And November 23rd, come see me headline the Laughingstock Comedy Club in Hanover. I may be talking to one of the 5 people in the chat named Terry Nee, but come check me out regardless. Otherwise, I'm going to blow my brains out.
Yeah, Spanksgiving. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right.
Hell yeah.
All
on
right,
that note,
everybody.
if you can't join them, beat them. And don't be a peep.
POS show yo. POS show yo.